Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button on this video like it's a pre-transition Ellen page, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number 1, Katie Price is British, so she's got that going against her with regards to looks. But after Ozempic and plastic surgery, she looks like she's giving Kelly Osbourne a run for her money. She thinks that she can hide her bad plastic surgery behind those insanely large glasses and a wig. I knew that she looks familiar, except something tells me that she doesn't have the brains of this brainiac from Thunderbirds. For a moment I thought Brains had transitioned. Up next, also in Britain, here's the next attack against men, claiming that there's now medical misogyny targeting women. How is this even possible as men die sooner and the NHS spends less money on men in general? The health secretary is just virtue signaling and wants to get re-elected. Also, maybe if there is misogyny, it's coming from female doctors because most doctors in the UK now have a vag. But you just know that the NHS will target the male doctors and try and get them all fired. Number 3, when men are insulted like this, no one does anything. This notice says that husbands choosing paint colors must have a signed note from their wives. Colors is spelled the Canadian or British way with O-U-R at the end. Besides treating men with disrespect, this proves that even though a man pays to live in a house, it's really his wife's to do as she pleases with regards to interior design and putting up those retarded candles in every room. Moving on, a theory came out decades ago that if men did more housework and childcare, that fertility rates would rise. Meanwhile, men are doing more than ever and fertility rates keep on falling. Is the correlation between men doing housework and lower fertility rates real, or is it just a coincidence? What else could have started causing this problem back in 2008? Smartphones, anyone? Online dating has been such a disaster that I've stopped doing it. It's too much work for too little return on my time invested. I think it's better paying for working girls at this point. Number 5, meanwhile in Canada, 50% of small business owners say that it's not a good time to open a business in Canada right now, especially as the country's economic foundation is crumbling, as industrial jobs leave the country, and the deficits double under Carney compared to Trudeau. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Trudeau might have been better for Canada than Carney. Things are going so bad on YouTube with views crashing, I might stop producing content by the end of the year or reduce how often I upload. Up next, do her requests sound reasonable. Looking for a man earning 6 figures, almost 6 feet tall, and I'm sure also good looking too. And what does she have to offer? She's fat and she likes food. Taylor Swift and loves to travel. At this point, unless you're in the top 5% of good looking men, or have money, you're better off just paying for a working girl. Women these days are more selfish than ever. It's time that we did the same. This one looks like a delusional 4. Number 7, yes, it's true these days, unless you're 6 feet tall and earning $100,000 plus a year, you're going to be single forever. If you're making 6 figures, you can also pay a working girl $400 every couple of weeks and have a good time without having to deal with a girlfriend. That's $10,000 a year and still cheaper than being in a relationship these days. This one has lofty demands and will probably be a future cat lady forever. Moving on, Canadians now pay more in taxes than food, housing, and clothing combined. You better believe it. I paid 6-figure taxes this year for the first time. I'm sure I'm supporting a couple of government bureaucrats with my income tax alone this year. You know that at some point the Laffer curve is going to break and people will be so heavily overtaxed that they'll simply leave the country. I'm using legal tax loopholes, but I can only do so much. Number 9, here's more insanity from Canada. There are calls from the Catholic Church to apologize for the mass graves of Indigenous children that were found across the country. Meanwhile, it's all lies, and 2 years after those statements were made, no human remains were ever found and the whole country fell for the hoax, and people even started burning down churches. You just know that if those remains were there, they would have dug them up like trophies for the woke left. Up next, Bosnian World Cup team soccer fans are worried about sitting in the temporary bleachers for the World Cup in Toronto, and they call them sketchy. The engineers say it's fine. I've driven past them a few times and there's no way that I'd pay $6,000 to sit on them. But don't worry everyone, it's got an engineering stamp from either a he, she, or a they, them. And I'm sure it was built wonderfully by Canada's Indian laborers. Nothing to worry about. Keep moving on. Number 11, what a narcissistic loser. Gruesome news scam used his PAC money to buy 67,000 copies of his own book. Out of all the sales, he purchased a third of all the copies. And I hear he just finished his follow-up book called How to Launder Money Selling Your Own Book. It's going to be a bestseller. And if it isn't, he's going to buy up all the copies to make sure it is. And this is the guy that the Democrat Party is pinning its hopes on for the next presidential election. Moving on, remember everyone, This is why Africa will never develop because of ultra-low IQs. Or will it? In the end, I'm predicting we'll send robots in to build it up and dig up all the resources. I don't see any other way to develop it while the Africans are still there. Also, check out that 45 IQ in Sierra Leone and Liberia. It's also crazy to think that Libya has the highest IQ on the continent with 81. And this is the continent where the majority of people will be from in the next 100 years. God help us. Number 13, this guy walked away from a first date after a woman ordered 10 meals to go for her kids. Talk about disrespect. I'm glad this man had enough self-respect to walk away from this nut bar. Women aren't even trying to hide their entitled behaviors anymore. Imagine being disrespected by a woman like this who allowed half the block to hit it raw. Women will shame this man and say that if he can't pay for her kids, then he shouldn't be dating her or some other nonsense. Up next, and speaking of base behavior, El Salvador banned the Edgar haircut in public schools in order to restore discipline. The Edgar is a Latino haircut and it's popular in the southern United States. Whenever I see this, all I get is a flashback to the 90s when kids used to get mushroom cuts. They all seem to look like they're trying to imitate Caesar with it. Imagine having a haircut so chopped that it gets banned in schools. It looks like one of the worst haircuts of all time. Number 15, someone says this is why you don't trust women. Because this one hit 100 pounds in another room. Wrong unit because that looks more like 100 kilograms. Unfortunately, she still couldn't hide her fat ass though, and this has the makings of a great Yo Mama joke. Yo Mama's so fat that she stands in 2 rooms at the same time. Remember to always be aware that women are hiding something. It's usually their notch count and bad attitude. Moving on, how do the Germans know that France would look like this in the future with black athletes being crowned the winners? While Shlomo there on the right looked on. Here's what Paris looks like today. Hitler wanted to destroy it when Germany was losing the war. Now looks like Paris is facing a fate worse than being leveled. It's being enriched and it'll turn into a slum. This is what Alexandria in Egypt looks like when I was there, and it was built by French people too. Number 17, meanwhile in Ontario, Canada, the number of private security guards has increased by 75% from only 2020 to 2025. People are hiring Indian security guards to protect themselves from Indian thieves. It's gone so bad that I see multiple guards at my local mall outside the jewelry and makeup stores. When you import the third world, you become the third world. This is why online shopping will win in the end, and then we'll need Indian security guards to protect us from Indian porch pirates. Jeets monitoring Jeets. Up next, this book might as well be women's motto, that everything is men's fault. A guide to explaining women's bad behavior. And remember that every woman owns a copy of this book and it's printed inside her brain when she's born in her DNA. It's cute watching women these days not know that they'll be one of the last few generations of women once we perfect sex robots, artificial wombs, and robot nannies. Their squeals will be delightful when technology takes everything away from them. Number 19, it looks like more women might be psychopaths than previously thought. And more women are morbidly obese and fatter than we thought as well. My dealings talking to women lately are wild. 10 years ago, I'd go on Tinder and match with someone, and we were both interested in seeing each other and started dating. Recently, I matched and spoke with 10 women, and after a conversation or two, all but 3 of them ghosted me. And I only got 3 first dates. They all seemed to have had these out-of-this-world expectations, and basically wanted me to be their financial slave and move them in. Things have definitely changed. Moving on, meanwhile on Amazon.com in India, male customers wonder if when buying this outfit it comes with a woman. Looks like treating women like sex objects comes as naturally for many Jeets as open defecation. Sub-Saharan Africa had the Sahara Desert and oceans to keep people in Ooga Booga land. And the Indian subcontinent was surrounded by the Himalayan mountains. Nature created a barrier to keep the enrichment locked up, and we set it free to wreak havoc on the whole world. Number 21, who could have possibly seen this one coming? A 58-year-old passport bro is heartbroken after his 28-year-old Filipino wife files for divorce after getting her U.S. citizenship. Filipinos are notorious gold diggers. Social media has destroyed them too, with the fertility rate in the Philippines being 2.7 to 2.8 back in 2015. And only 10 years later, in 2025, it dropped to 1.7, well below replacement. Soon it'll be below America's fertility rate to boot. Up next, when will women stop their male bashing? Amelia says that men are so hot that she wishes that they were good people. What she really means is that she's been smashed and dashed by Chad Rones, and they used her and wouldn't commit, and other men are invisible to her. Men with options treat women poorly, and then those women take out their angst on society and other men that they find creepy. Imagine the backlash if men said that a lot of women were hot, but I wish that they were good people. Number 23, speaking of women being good people, Mimi cheated on her husband with her rich boss, and the boss abused her and beat her up. But her now ex-husband is married again and owns the pharmacy she gets their medication from. I bet that she's probably trying to monkey branch back to him and break up his new marriage. And notice how she won't take accountability but instead makes the rich man she cheated with the monster to distract from her terrible character and behavior. Moving on, look how bad Hoflation is getting with even Chaz no longer being able to make it onto Girl's Instascam page. Maybe she's guarding his identity from her friends and coworkers so they don't try and steal him away from her. If I was that guy and I was disrespected like this, I would end the relationship. But he's probably a simp and he won't do it. Then again, maybe he doesn't want his photo with her because look at that grizzled face. Number 25 and the last one, Cornelius Ray, has a point when he says that if you take a 90 IQ person out of an 80 IQ country and presumably put them into a 100 IQ country, then both countries have gotten dumber. At this point, I don't even want the high IQ ones if they refuse to assimilate and bring their shame-based morality to the West. I've gotten tired of this, and I've gotten used to the idea that I'll probably have to keep moving away from enrichment for the rest of my life as it follows me everywhere. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm, and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.